Good afternoon, and welcome to this LSEC broadcast of the SecurIT project. It's basically an official announcement of a program that we as LSEC are starting together with partners from all of Europe, namely France, Lithuania, Poland, and the Netherlands, and where we are basically hoping to help small and medium-sized companies in Europe, both in security, in cybersecurity, and others hopefully related, to innovate in the domain of security, both cybersecurity and physical security. So what I'm going to do in the next half an hour to 45 minutes is to present you what this program is really all about, how it's going to be organized, and what in the next coming months and weeks you can expect from us, also from our partners, and also from Europe in this case in supporting you, but also where we are expecting from you, where you should be participating at, and where you should be hopefully preparing yourself. In short, SecurIT is a project, a European project, which is funded by the European Commission, and it's funded as a financial support for third parties mechanism, whereby we as LSEC together with our partners will be organizing 2 open calls for which companies will be receiving either up to 74,000 euros or up to 88,000 euros for either developing an innovative proof of concept or an innovative demonstrator in the next year or in the next 2 years. So welcome to all of you in participating here, and I hope to be able to see you definitely also participating as entities in this group. So as you can see, I'm virtually present in this presentation, and so what I'll be doing here is I'll be giving you some further insights on both the objectives of the project, of the SecurIT project, on how the concept of the cascade funding, the finance support mechanism really works, the schedule and the timing, what we expect in terms of topics and elements, and also the mechanism for you to work upon, where there's some conditions that you need to be aware of, and where there's maybe also an opportunity for you to participate if you don't like to, if you cannot, or if you're not interested in participating in the open call. Maybe we can engage you to participate in the project as an evaluator, which will be also remunerated, but only limited to some extent. It's much more to get maybe also your level of expertise and experience, and maybe also to help making the right selections for the innovators that are participating. So it's really a warm welcome to all of you to participate in this activity directly as SMEs, or by supporting SMEs that you are knowledgeable of, which are innovative and which would like to participate together with you, maybe as an end user or as a systems integrator, where you can see them, that they can really be helped by this means, by these financial means, by maybe setting up a project with some innovative technologies within your organization, together with your organization as an integrator, or with your organization as an end user. And we really stimulate all 3 entities to think of how can you really work towards innovating in this market, in this security and cybersecurity market, in the next 2 to 3 years. So fundamentally, the SecurIT project is a project that together with our partners we won, and I forgot to mention just before, Denmark as one of our member countries. So apologies to our partners from SENSEC, but also with our partners from the poles in France, SAFE, the Pole SES, and Systematic, and our partners in the Netherlands, the HSD, and then our partners in Lithuania, L3CE, all of us working very hard in innovating in either security or cybersecurity. And then also thanks to our partners of Funding Box, a partner in Poland, which is helping us in the operational implementation of the open call activities. So the SecurIT project is what we called a new industrial value chains for safe, secure, and resilient cities and territories. And that's where SecurIT as an acronym is coming from. But of course, SecurIT is much more than just the acronym. It's really about innovating security, SecurIT. And it's also really about innovating security with IT and basically announcing the concept of digital transformation also in the security industry. Because also that's what's really important in these days. Many of the security applications, physical security applications we see today are really lagging a bit behind when it comes to turning into digital. Many of those systems are still legacy and do require a couple of renovations, to call it this way. But this digital transformation also has to take into account, of course, cybersecurity. So that's, of course, the main reason for cybersecurity by itself to be much more important in this space than just in the simplest terms. So we are looking towards innovations utilizing different types of cybersecurity innovative mechanisms. And just to give you a couple of ideas, which I also mentioned in another session today, things like secure multi-party computation and fully homomorphic encryption to just improve, for instance, the privacy components of traditional security mechanisms, whereby, for instance, any type of a company can start to share also private personal data by technical means and still endorsing and still honoring the privacy regulations and GDPR for that matter, but also ensuring in that case the privacy of its end users and also of the ones which are utilizing the platforms. So there are, for instance, innovative mechanisms to utilize multi-party computation in that space. Another mechanism that we are obviously looking into very hard from cybersecurity space, but also from security space, is everything in relation to artificial intelligence, utilizing data lakes that can help improving security, but it can also help in utilizing AI to improve the process of the whole security mechanism for instance, onboarding, but also, for instance, for detecting. And for instance, also utilizing AI as a means to gather public intelligence in order to improve, for instance, the awareness of physical security like terrorist attacks or crime, physical crime, organized crime, and utilizing basically digital means to detect where potential organized crime can actually take place. So some of those mechanisms is what we definitely can also see as innovations in that space. So coming back to the SecurIT project. So it's a project which is running 3 years, at least for us as LSEC and together with the partners. There's a budget that we have available to spend for the SMEs, so for you as companies, of about 3.5 million euros in two open calls. And so those two open calls is what I'll be talking about next. So our main objective is really to support European small and medium-sized enterprises in the field of security, in development or integration of innovative solutions. And we will be supporting you with real financial means. So we'll be giving you grants by means of innovation vouchers, but you'll actually be receiving funds directly on your bank accounts. And it's by means of basically cascade funding, which means that we as partners, as consortia, receive the funds from the European Commission, and we will transmit those funds directly to your bank accounts if you are being selected as consortia being regarded as innovative by our evaluators and through the program. The first open call will launch in January 2022. And that's the main reason why it is good for you to participate here and to attend, because you have to do some pre-activities and pre-work. While the call is officially being launched at the end of January, we'll be basically submitting and giving you access to the open call platform, so the online platform where you can submit, and also the online documentation that you can use and you have to use, you know, to submit templates, which you have to also fill in and document. So by being here, you get the first impression of what we are looking for. And we do encourage you to already start looking for partners within your networks, to already start looking for potential end users or system integrators within your networks in order to facilitate for you the process of this whole thing. Because from our experience, these types of calls, while they might seem easy, the competition is relatively high. We do expect quite a number of participants here. So it is to your own benefit to start early, to really think hard together with your partners on where you see the innovation, and to work on drafting those proposals as soon as possible, and maybe to send either to us as a project partner or to our colleagues as project partners your concepts of proposals and maybe your proposals, that we can give you advice on how to further improve them, and or maybe making sure that you can increase your chances in winning. Neither of us, neither of the partners have an impact on that process in itself. There will be third-party evaluators and experts looking into your proposals, and they will, independently from us, will be giving scores on your proposals. But we know how they will consider those. We also have an understanding of where they will be putting their efforts in the evaluations. So this type of help and support, I can guarantee you from other experiences, will be helpful and will be welcome. And it will definitely increase your chances. There will be, of course, projects selected which have been submitted 5 minutes to the closing date, which in this case will be the 26th of April 2022 for the first open call. But also from our experience, there will be lesser of those selected at the end of the day. In any case, how is the process going to work? We will organize this open call, and by organizing this webinar, and also our partners will be organizing similar types of webinars, we announce the fact that we do this. This will also be published on our website for others to attend afterwards. And so it allows you to start reaching out to potential partners, because every consortium has to be consisting of at least 2 SMEs to participate, and with preference of 2 different European countries where they are originating from. Which means that also other partners can participate, also from the same countries, but there have to be at least 2 SMEs participating. We also endorse and would suggest that, as I said before, end users and or system integrators might be participating in the partnership, but they cannot receive any funds directly from the project. So for SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and we follow here the guidelines of the European Commission, what those are. So when it comes to security companies, those are pretty large. I think that the concept of medium-sized companies, it means that in this case, following the guidelines of the European Commission, they can be companies up to 250 million euros in turnover annually. So those are medium-sized enterprises, and so they can be, in this case, going pretty extensive. So SecurIT project will organize and coordinate the project in itself, and organizing the call, which will be open for 3 months. The first one being January until April 2022. We aim to have you writing light applications, which means that yes, you have to write a document, a template in Word, and then fill in some basic elements into an application form online. The funding will be in lump sum amounts, so meaning that we will give you an amount at a couple of stages that will, the most of it at the very end of the project, well, where you will be showcasing basically a demonstrator or basically the proof of concept of your project. You will be contracted through, in this case, the first open call through SAFE, which is one of our French partners. We will be asking you to regularly report to the project partners, and there will be one from the partners that will be designated to one of the different projects that will also help you and also ask on the regular occasions on how the project is going. And of course, you cannot receive any double financing for this project in itself. So if you have another project which is financing your project today, then of course this project cannot be financed twice. So you'll have to find another mechanism to do so. The second open call will be organized in 2023. So if you cannot make it for now, no harm done, then you can still submit in 2023. But of course, if you submit now and you won't be selected, then you have another chance, of course, in 2023. So something to consider. So we're now here at this stage, meaning that we are developing the applications, the forms, which means that also today your comments and questions are useful. So put them in the chat if you have any, or reach out to us afterwards, because some of your comments and questions can be taken into consideration to, for instance, clarify a little bit further where maybe some of the components might not be that clear. So in that sense, there's a couple of mechanisms that we can still use to further elaborate on before the official documents are going to be published. There's still some time for iterations and facts online, which will be submitted throughout the process afterwards. But still today, the more that we can provide you clarity, the better. So for each open call, we aim to select about 21 projects. And so prototypes and demonstrators, which will be selected by 42 European SMEs. So 2 SMEs per consortium, obviously. There will be mini grants for pre-selected projects. Will be invited to participate in the jury day, which will be taking place likely around June timeframe. And so for €1,000 for each of those projects will be invited to participate in the jury day, hopefully to be able to take place physically. So from there on, there will be either prototyping or demonstrating projects selected out of the ones which are being pre-selected. And so aiming to get 14 prototyping projects and about 28 demonstrator projects. This one up to €74,000 per project to be split, of course, amongst the partners. And this one up to €88,000 to be split amongst the partners, of which every partner can maximum receive up to €60,000. So if you have a developing partner here, which is going to spend about €60,000, then the remaining partner can only receive 14,000. But if here, for instance, you have 2 developing partners, all wanting to receive €44,000, that can happen as well. Where can you apply for it and where can you find more information? Well, we have already an operation website, which is securitproject.eu. That project website is under development, but it's already active now. So you can see it further developing in the next coming months and weeks. Then there will be, and there is already active live as well, a securit.fundingbox.com website, which is basically the website where you have to submit the application and the application forms. There you can go already now and start submitting your profile, because the profiles might come in also handy for other funding box activities that might be organized. So maybe other open calls in other domains that might be useful for you already now or towards the future. But the official application will only be able to be submitted around January 25th, up until then 26th of April. If you need technical support, you can contact us directly through this email at Fundingbox, but you can also, of course, reach us through ourselves as LSEC or one of the partners to do this. Independent evaluators, and I'll get to that in a second as well, will select up to 21 projects in the first open call. So we will, as project partners, be selecting whether the projects submitted will be eligible to participate or not. But the evaluators then, in the end, will be selecting those eligible projects. So it's fixed funding, but you have to, of course, submit your budgets to make sure that we can understand how you also arrive to spend that either 74,000 euros or 88,000 euros. So the prototyping, what do we understand on the prototyping? It's the development of a prototype solution. And what we aim to get, what we aim to see you getting to, is to get to a minimum viable product. So that's the main goal for this prototype. A demonstrator, there we expect you to already have done a bit of pre-work, and where you are aiming to deploy this at a large scale in the short term once you have finished basically the demonstrator. So the demonstrator here is maybe a technology that you already have that you would like to showcase. It could also be that you want to further develop it during the course of the project timeline, which is up to 12 months. So you still have quite a lot of time. But we would like you to show to us that you can actually demonstrate its use, and that it can afterwards be deployed in for instance, a large enterprise environment, or at least on a large scale, which could be, for instance, also a public environment, a public authority, or for a city or something of a kind. So basically, that will be, we aim to get to about 7 prototyping projects up to 7 demonstrators per open call. That's the goal. So we will be checking your eligibility. And what is the eligibility? It will also be listed in the guide for applicants, and there will be specified what those are. But in short, the eligibility will be in relation to the fact that there will be 2 SMEs that have to participate, and that, for instance, those 2 SMEs cannot be basically companies in danger, and basically that you have not received any funding for the same project anywhere else, especially not from the European side. So the evaluation will happen basically in different stages. There's this automated eligibility assessment that we as project partners and that Fundingbox will be doing on the complete list. Did you submit everything? Did you submit, for instance, the application form online, but you forgot maybe the application form, the Word template? Then unfortunately you won't be eligible. There will be also declaration of honor that, for instance, you're not a company in bankruptcy. There will be some pre-scoring done. That basically will help the evaluators to give their independent external expertise. And then there will be the evaluation done remotely by the evaluators on the different proposals. I will be asking them to give us scoring on these 4 categories. So that's excellence, that's impact, that's implementation, and then potential transversal criteria, like things like balance of gender, ethical issues, and potentially maybe even contribution to the environment, or low carbon, which might be the case also in security projects. So in the consensus meeting then afterwards, so let's say that there will be 61 projects that have been selected in the first open call, then we will be scoring the ones which have the highest ranks, the first 21. And if there's too many equalities, then we'll be using the consensus meeting, but also the consensus meeting to make sure that all experts can get together and find consensus in their scoring. So that will be happening during that specific meeting that will be taking place for all selected projects at that point in time, and also all eligible projects. And then there will be a jury day where all of the highest score project will be presented, but also other companies will be invited to participate. And then basically the jury will give its final decision, and the projects will be selected there. So there's 3 domains that we are looking for. The first one being sensitive infrastructure protection, disaster resilience, and public space protection or protection for major events. So a couple more in detail on what that contains. Basically, these themes, those main themes, are guidance. So they give you some ideas on what overall challenges and needs are. So what is it really that we face as Europe? What is it really that we are looking for? But in this case, I'd say be creative, be innovative, and make sure that you can showcase how, for instance, this solution can be implemented for these types of uses. For instance, critical or sensitive infrastructure protection, on how they can actually help a safety director or any other targeted end user, an enterprise end user, of improving their security or cybersecurity in this way. So that's what we are looking for here. So make sure that with your innovation, you can convince us and the reviewers that this is something which is going to be really helpful for the security market and for, in this case, also the partners in as end users that we have, which are basically public authorities and critical infrastructure users or sensitive and essential services users, but also, for instance, in this case, large enterprise users. So do showcase to us and do give us an idea on how you see that they would implement this type of technology. So it should not be coming completely out of the blue. And of course, things like an indication of support or having an end user participating in there could be advantageous to, in this case, your submission. For instance, also a systems integrator that has an impact directly in those types of environments, where maybe the systems integrators can give an indication that, for instance, a demonstrator can be part of a larger project, as another example. A second theme is everything in relation to disaster recovery, where we are also, again, looking towards, for instance, digitalization, automation of these types of technologies and tools, and where also cybersecurity can be an important player and role in further improving some of the existing solutions out there. So disaster recovery, it's really about prevention and being prepared on large disasters which could happen. Those could be natural disasters, or could be things like pandemics or others that we are maybe even today a little bit more used of seeing. And then the third category, protection of public spaces, major events, and do consider major events like, for instance, large Christmas markets, which are not really happening today all over Europe, but in some cases they do. Or do consider things like Olympics, for instance, Paris in a couple of years, and where some technologies could actually help in protecting those public spaces, and therefore also cybersecuring many more of those environments. So how to prepare, identify and analyze domains and requirements, your eligibility conditions, see if the consortium is really up to the level to do this. All of the participants here will be receiving an email with the guide for applicants. And so those of you who are here participating will have a slight timing advantage on this, of course. We'll be organizing a matching day at the end of January when we'll be officially launching the call. And do follow us also on our online channels to see if there's any further activities that might be happening. We'll be communicating through LSEC. We'll also be supporting, of course, your proposals and helping you finding the right partners if that's of need. We'll also do that through our international activities, of course, the different partners of the SecurIT project, but also through our networks of international partners through Global Epic, for instance, where we also have partners in UK, in Poland, other partners in Poland, more security-related partners in Poland, also through our partners of the CSA, the Cloud Security Alliance, where we have partners in Spain, in Italy, and so forth. So many other partners that we can reach out to in helping you getting the right partners. To give you also some examples and ideas, towards the end of January, we will be publishing a catalog, and some of our innovative members of LSEC are also requested to suggest maybe some of their cybersecurity solutions that we can also publish in this catalog, to give examples to others, to maybe reach out to you, but also maybe to give inspiration on where they might see potential partnerships together with you. So those could be ideas towards cybersecurity, cyber physical potential challenges, and so forth. So what we need there is you to fill in a template, and then that will be taken along and being published into a report. That report will be published online as part of the SecurIT website and project. And so it will also help us giving some further insights in how the markets are currently developing. So if you have an idea on this, then send it to securitcatalog@lsec.eu, and then we'll be happy to consider that to be taken online. So another one is a call for you if you don't want or like to participate in the open call as SMEs, or if you're a large enterprise and would still like to contribute, or if you're in a part of the public authorities and you would still like to contribute, then maybe your role could be to participate in the project as external experts. There will be some rewarding scheme, which means that you will be paid to participate. It's going to be, of course, not that much because, as you've seen, we want to spend most of the funds to the innovators, but at least you will be rewarded for some of your works and for the time spent. But of course, maybe many reward can be in the space of understanding on how some of the innovators work. Maybe you can see some innovators that could be useful for you to work upon together. Or maybe it could help you in your day-to-day job in moving further and thinking alongside some new developments in business models, in technologies, and others. So if this is the case, then we will launch the call for the experts, but we'll also broadcast it, of course, to our membership somewhere around the end of around January timeframe. The selection and making the selection of the experts by the end of April, because of course all of these reviewers and evaluators will have to start working on doing the reviews of the open call submissions at the end of April, at the early May timeframe, when we have done the eligibility checks. So as a summary, the dashboard is we start the open call at the end of January, but you will be getting the open call documentation already early January when we can publish it officially. And then we will be evaluating the proposals after you've submitted yours around May-June timeframe. There will be contacts, matchmaking contacts, definitely online around end of January, early February, and hopefully also matchmakings live sessions around February, March timeframe, when hopefully we get Corona and Omicron and maybe the successor to Omicron a little bit under control. And then hopefully by June timeframe, we will be able to organize a physical face-to-face jury meeting where we'll be hopefully be able to see all of you attending directly. So having said all of this, the contact details for the SecurIT project in itself, the different partners that you can reach out to, which all have the SecurIT project listed on their websites, and contact components that you can reach out to, or you can definitely also reach out directly to us within LSEC. SecurIT@lsec.eu is the project email address where you can reach us. Either myself or my two colleagues, Richard and Neil, that will be hopefully also supporting you in your calls for support, which means that yes, we will be supporting you, but you have to reach out to us, of course, in asking. I see a question popping up in the chat, a question that I had already anticipated, and so thank you very much, Rob, for asking. So is the UK SME eligible for this grant as well, since they aren't part of the EU? Well, luckily, Rob, you are still part of the EU, but of course you're not a member of the EU 28 anymore. So you're not a member. But luckily, the EU and the UK have made agreements earlier on the Horizon Europe activities, and this project is actually falling under that category of Horizon Europe activities. And you also have done this under the Horizon Europe and Digital Europe program activities. So, to the UK partners here present, yes, you will be able to get also funding for your activities and for the project if it's been selected. However, the funding will be coming, as you can expect, also through the UK funding agencies, so not directly through the SecurIT project, likely, as we can see that happening right now. But to affirm you and to confirm you, yes, you will be also, if selected, you will be able to receive similar types of grants and funds to participate. So with this, I'd say I'm looking forward if you have any other calls or questions. I see that there's another question as well. Can an integrator also be valued as an SME? So the qualification of an SME is independent from the qualification of an integrator. So if you are an SME, which is the baseline qualification, the only part of the qualification to be eligible, you can participate. If you are a systems integrator and you are an SME, yes, you can participate. If you are a systems integrator, SME, and you have something to add into this market of security, and you can showcase that you can innovate, and you can actually also innovate by means of a prototype or a demonstrator, and preferentially within an end user environment or a public authorities environment, that's definitely going to be beneficial to you as an SME to participate. So yes, you can participate as a systems integrator being an SME. You can also participate as a systems integrator being an SME without having that security focus. But if you have then a partner in your consortium being also an SME with security technologies and solutions, which is innovative, then yes, you can implement those as an integrator. If, for instance, you have an SME as a partner, as a potential end user, and you're a systems integrator within the focus area of security, and both of you are SMEs, but none of you really have the expertise or the security components of expertise, and you would like to use a security expertise of a large enterprise, that can also happen. But then, of course, we have to make sure, and you have to be able to clarify the fact that the innovation that takes place, you can ensure the intellectual property and the access to that technology that you will be trying to get, that you get for the demonstrations and the implementations. Right. Thank you very much, Rob, for clarifying that it was a clear answer, because sometimes these things can be a little bit unclear, and we try to make it as clear as possible. With this, I would say, if there's no further questions, then thank you very much all for participating and attending. This session will also be published online on our website, on the LSEC website, potentially also on the SecurIT website, because it's the first one that we do under these mechanisms that we do in English. So hopefully we'll be able to to see you all participating to this call. And if there's things which are not entirely clear, then please do reach out to us, either directly through the partners that you have as members or as organizations through one of our contacts, or reach out to us directly via the websites or the contact email addresses that you can see here. With this, I would like to thank you all for participating. And I would say, as we are reaching the end of this year, definitely have a great season's end and happy holidays. And I'm looking forward in seeing you again in our next exercise, and next webinars will take place highly likely in the first quarter of January 22. I see that one final comment came in. As one of our UK colleagues is suggesting, if it's an H2020 project, not entirely Horizon Europe, then we think it will be funded as though the UK, whereas member state having already paid into that fund. Yeah, so that's indeed correct. So it will be indeed part of the Horizon 20 types of funding mechanisms. All right. In any case, as I was finalizing, because this one came in just last minute, we'll be hopefully seeing you again early next year. And I wish you all happy season's end, and stay safe and stay secure. Bye all.